Bangalore is home to the largest cohort of engineers in the world.
No, if we have to be truly Atmanirbhar, we need the support of all the MSMEs, all the major players in the country.
Things have really changed. I've been watching this space for now over 40 years.
So the whole of manufacturing is about $25. That's 2% of the complete product cost.
So we redesigned the flap track beam assembly for Airbus. It's the only class 1 flight critical product on the A320 that's been redesigned.
The geopolitical situations are changing. We do not know who is our friend or foe in future. So we need to have the IP.
What is the change that has come in the last 10 to 15 years?
So, I think AI embedding that way is becoming very big for Zen in simulators.
It would be early to say our time has come, but certainly those who do the work, the hard work, they have a very good environment to achieve their dreams.
Let us begin this dialogue with a shared sense of purpose to envision, to create, and to propel India towards a future of technological excellence and global leadership. In the past 42 years, he has traversed the entire spectrum across print, broadcast, and digital space. A legend in military circles for having taught communication and strategy to generation of Indian military officers. He is an alumnus of the Asia Pacific Center for Security Studies in Hawaii. Okay. Now, I hand over the session to Shri Nitin Anand Gokhale.
In the seminar circuits, this is always called a graveyard shift because people are either very drowsy or not too bright and not receptive. But I can promise you that with this stellar list of or participants of as panelists, I don't think you will really go to sleep. So thank you very much, first of all, IMS and Laghu Udyog Bharati for inviting me to moderate this session. And I think it's something that many of the practitioners, those who are into manufacturing, even on a small scale, would really benefit from. And I commend you on the initiative. I'm told this is the first time the conference is being held. I was told by one of the organizers. So I think it's a good initiative to start with. I'm also, like I stopped the MC from giving my full introduction because that is not important. The discussion is more important. I'm not going to introduce all of them in their full spectrum identity because all of them are highly remarkable achievers, and therefore it will take me a long time. So let's not while away our time in saying that, but let me just introduce you from my immediate left, Air Chief Marshal V.R. Chaudhari, our previous Air Chief who demitted office last October after a remarkable 40 plus years of service, and someone who has brought in a lot of changes in a 3-year tenure as the Air Chief when he was there between 2021 to 2024. Next to him is Udayant Malhotra, better known as Toby Malhoutra in defense circles, someone who's also into precision manufacturing, designing, and of course, Bangalore boy for the last 30 years. Also important part of the upcoming and the existing defense and aerospace ecosystem that is there. He works with multiple multinationals, is also going international, and someone who is here with us to participate in this discussion on manufacturing and innovation, a new space or new initiatives in India. Next to him is P. Ravishankar, who's with the Larsen and Toubro. He's just relocated to Bangalore and is now with, he's the general manager head aerospace business segment because Larsen and Toubro is getting into aerospace. Their other strengths have been, of course, naval systems and other things that they do elsewhere, Hazira land systems, naval systems. But now they're also getting into aerospace, a consortium with Bharat Electronics Limited. They've gone in for AMCA, and I suppose that's one of your major tasks going forward. And next to him is my friend Ashok Atluri, CMD of Zen Technologies, which is a more than 30-year-old company, which is concentrated and concentrating on creating India's own IPs in various segments, but mainly training simulators, training systems, and now have gone into other requirements for the armed forces like the counter UAVs and many other. They have also just acquired a naval simulation company and is on a acquisition spree, if I can say that. So we couldn't have asked for a better panel than this. Of course, it would have been good to have Amit Kalyani from Bharat Force. Nevertheless, I think these four should be having enough material to tell us or enough knowledge to tell us about what's happening in the next 1 hour or 1 hour, 15 minutes that we have with us. So let me start like this. Let me ask each one of them to give us a 3 or 4 minute or 2-3 minute of opening remarks about what they feel, where the Indian defense sector is, where is Indian manufacturing going. Are we only doing build to print, which used to be the norm earlier? So what is the change that has come in the last 10 to 15 years? And then we will get into a discussion. So may I ask Ashok to start and then come this way?
Thank you, Nitin. The bill of materials is about $485. And out of the remaining $715, could you guess what is the make in India or make in China component? That is basically what does Apple pay to Foxconn? Any guesses here? $300, $400, how much? $25. Exactly. So we are paying, so the whole of manufacturing is about $25. That's 2% of the complete product cost. And we are ignoring the remaining $690, which is the IP owner's game. Why are we not talking about it? So my grudge with this is, the Make in India is played up so much, even though Atmanirbhar presumes innovation and IP development as the key, but there is not much stress. So even in this, I would request the session here, IMS, Indian Manufacturing Show, to remain with the same same abbreviation, but change it to Innovation and Manufacturing Show. Because this is very, very important that if you don't, so again, a lot of people think I think manufacturing is important. But the point is, if you don't own the IP and you just manufacture, you're playing somebody else's game. You're not playing your own game. And when trouble comes, the software is withdrawn, we will be in trouble. So how do we build companies with innovation? So, why I am so confident that India is fighting below its weight is because as Zen, we have more than 200 patents applied globally. And we have got a lot of patents, and we think that Indians are capable of doing it. We are the guys who invented zero. And, and people who are zero are doing a lot of work now, like China. So, how do we really take over the IP development and create our own apples and our own defense products, which we are today in army simulation. We are #1 in the world, and wherever we go, people aspire for. They don't compete with us. That's Germany, German Rheinmetall, America, Cubic Defense System. They don't want to compete with us. Why? Because 25 years relentlessly we have been doing IP development. So the point again here is that I would say that IP should be an integral part of our strategy. And again, my request to the organizers, it should be innovation and manufacturing. Thank you.
L&T's plans in aerospace and defense manufacturing.
Yeah. Thanks, Nitin, and thanks to Ashok for giving a good opening start. My thought on innovation, and I fully agree with him. The geopolitical situations are changing. We do not know who is our friend or foe in future. So we need to have the IP, and we need to invest on the technology. And good part of the country is that earlier we were the market for those programs. Now we ourselves are becoming a market, designing, plus we are also looking at exports. We need to create this ecosystem with a lot of startups, MSMEs, so that we integrate the full system and then fully indigenous. While we have done some programs like K9, initially it was partial indigenization. Now we are looking at more than 60% indigenization. As far as Larsen and Toubro is concerned, it has been last 6-7 decades has been in that. Last 3 decades has been a heavy investment in terms of infrastructure. And we have dedicated infrastructure. For example, Kattupalli, the shipbuilding, the Coimbatore, the precision manufacturing for the aerospace, Hazira for the gun systems, and Talegaon for land and naval systems. And now we are taking it further in terms of build to print to build to spec and build from concept. So that's the stage we are looking at it. We are also partnering with some of the key companies so that we get the technology in India so that we are independent of any other country. That's the idea of what we have now. Thank you.
Toby, over to you. Give him the mic, and I think whichever way. Yeah. So I think you can give us your perspective on manufacturing and, of course, defense sector.
Sure. So thank you very much, Nitin, and thank you to our co-panelists. Our company, Dynamatic, is kind of emblematic. I've been here now 39 years. And so it's literally a generation. I just turned 60 10 days ago. And I've been here since I was 20. We were a tiny tractor parts business when I was 20 years old. And very early, we developed a few patents, which we patented in the European Patent Office. And we became the world's largest manufacturer of hydraulic pumps for tractors. And today, 35% of the world's tractors have a Dynamatic pump inside. So there's a very unique IP that is driving a global domination in a niche business. Now, a hydraulic pump is a tremendous start for us in a business like aerospace because you're pumping oil at 4,000 pounds per square inch pressure. So all your tolerances are under 5 microns. Your hair is 50 microns. So we took that, and in 1990, when the Soviet Union collapsed, Indian Army couldn't get hydraulic pumps for our T-72 tanks. And it was very difficult because private sector was not allowed into defense manufacturing. But I went there as a 25-year-old kid, and I think the fact that we were a Bangalorean company, DRDO's here, there's a kid out there talking to them as an entrepreneur, and we were making hydraulic pumps and we had some patents. They allowed us in, and we won a national award for that work. So I think this defense business where we are today, we started very early, and I think that kind of support that is there today for private sector participation is massive. So along the way, we started manufacturing stuff for HAL. We became a partner with DRDO in a lot of early development. And when the Sukhoi was built in India, 1/6 of the airframe was built by Dynamatic. But they were making 12, 15 aircraft a year. So we started globalizing, and we today are the sole source for every Airbus. We make their flap track beam assemblies for Boeing. That's about 900 aircraft a year. Boeing 100 military aircraft, we make various very large, each part we give them has 800-900 sub-parts that we also make. So they're large assemblies, functional assemblies. And I think that phase that we're talking about is not just manufacturing, as was discussed earlier, is the innovation that India and Bangalore in particular brings. So we redesigned the flap track beam assembly for Airbus. It's the only class 1 flight critical product on the A320 that's been redesigned. And today, last month, we had the whole board of directors spend half a day at our company here. And they went and met the PM the next day, and they said, the experimentation we're doing now in India at Dynamatic will change the way we build aeroplanes, because now we are redesigning the tail cone. So I think all of us have similar stories where India has suddenly matured. I'm just giving ourselves as an example, but there are tremendous, I think it would be early to say our time has come, but certainly those who do the work, the hard work, they have a very good environment to achieve their dreams. Thank you.
Great, I think that's a great opening, but you are at the critical edge of, you were for so many years, and I'm sure you continue to engage with the Air Force, a user of all these products that come out from companies like what we are discussing right now. What is the change that you've seen in your own career from, say, mid-80s to when you demitted office in 2024? Obviously, the Indian industry has undergone a tremendous change, and you yourself drove a lot of those initiatives. So please tell the audience about what you think is happening right now.
Yeah, thanks. Firstly, very inspiring to hear from the entrepreneurs here. In the strategic circles, usually the question always asked is something like the chicken and egg thing, whether technology is driving our strategy or tactics, or is our strategy and tactics demanding some technology. The point is, it works both ways. More often, it is technology which is defining or determining what kind of strategies we adopt. And like the Moore's law, the technology is advancing so rapidly, particularly in the last 20 odd years, that it is going to be very difficult to play catch up with the rate of, the exponential change that is taking place. So, like I said, there is a typical technology acceptance curve, as you like it. We generally are lagging behind slightly in accepting newer technologies. Right. The primary reason I feel is very internal to the armed forces, is that we have been very, very secretive about what we have been doing for many years. We have hid from our own fellow Indians, fellow industrialists, what exactly happens within, let's say, an airbase, or how we need, some components or spares to keep the, force going. This openness has come about only in the last few years.
Yes.
Where we have opened our doors to every Indian industrialist, everybody come and see, particularly in our base repair depots, to come and see what kind of integration can take place with the domestic industry, and that is going to be the driver of our future capability. If we have to be truly Atmanirbhar, we need the support of all the MSMEs, all the major players in the country, to be able to keep the diverse equipment that we hold, keep them operationally ready, and be able to sustain them in any long conflict if the need arises.
That's true. In fact, so Ashok, if I can start with you, the discussion, and taking points from different, all the points that have been made so far. One of the key elements that I see, and I've also been watching this sector for some time now, is that there is much more interaction between the armed forces and the industries, and even the small players, MSMEs. How has that helped? If you can just shed some light on that, and then I'll come around the chair.
I think it changed when Parikar came into the power. I think everything changed. He himself was accessible, absolutely, fully accessible, and for almost 10 years, we were, problem with Zen was that we were creating products that were either India first or world first. The simulator that for a containerized tank simulator, something that we supplied in 2011, that's in the budget of US to develop in the next 5 years. So we developed very way ahead. And our biggest problem was that people would say, listen, Ashok, you are becoming single vendor. Now, how can you create the 2 or 3 vendor when you are India first or world first? So that was the challenge. And I mean to say, in armed forces, it's not just giving a quotation, it is actually getting the equipment and getting it going through the thing. So this was the biggest challenge for us, that we were creating and we were being punished for being innovative. So so these 2 proposals in a little different format, Buy Indian IDDM and Make 2 were given by me to Mr. Parikar, and he said, Ashok, we will introduce it. He made some changes, but he pushed. By the way, the Dhirendra committee refused to push it to him, so it was directly taken by him.
I should know, I was part of that.
So the thing was, so that sea change has to happen where they know. But even now, there is a lot of resistance on single vendor, and when emergency procurement is happening now, they under him, they allowed Buy Indian IDDM in emergency. But now, it's all Buy Indian only, because they think emergency, how will we identify? So that was kind of let out. But again, the problem is that, another issue is that we are facing is, today the procurement cycle is so long that the technology cycles are much shorter. If you start today, in 5 years from what you're getting is useless completely. So how you have to reduce the procurement cycle to less than technology cycle. So it has to be 6 months, 1 year, I don't know. But you have to be really, really aggressive there. Otherwise, what you are getting is something which cannot be used in the wars. Yeah.
No, I think that's where a lot of changes are happening. If you can shed some light on that. It started your time, DAP, amendments had to be done, or new DAP had to be written. Just tell us something.
So those are known to everybody, how we have refined from DAP 16 to, to 20 and then now to 25, which is coming up. I fully agree with what Ashok has to say that more than the technological or the manufacturing hurdles, it is the process hurdle, the bureaucratic hurdles which are, denying the capabilities urgently required by the armed forces. One Shark Tank event that we did in the Air Force was a competition. We, for
Meher
the drone,
Baba.
we did the Meher Baba drone competition. Okay. With a seed fund of 25 crores. Okay. See, this is what we had to invest. It was a major challenge. We had never done it in the armed forces before. The government had never done it. The government was questioning us, how can you give prize money to somebody? Because the government had never given a prize to anybody. But that gave rise to a plethora of domestic drone manufacturers. Today, I think it's more than a 2,000 crore economy, the drone economy within our country. Most of them supplying to the armed forces. So I think we require, like I say, a Shark Tank event to change the whole process.
Every 2 years at least, if not every year. That's true. So Toby, if you can tell us what is your take on manufacturing and acceptance of Indian manufacturers, quality-wise, otherwise. See, because the earlier reservations were not only about Indian products, it was also about Indian processes, Indian quality of products manufactured here. Even if they were built to print, there was a lot of resistance as far as I remember. But you can shed some more light on that.
Internationally?
Internationally?
So we have really, except for, back in the day with the Sukhoi and then also with Tejas, we focused on global sales. And, I have to tell you, there are half a dozen companies in Bangalore which are global best suppliers to Boeing and all the great companies, Thales and everyone. I mean, they're the best suppliers in the world. We ourselves have been best supplier to Boeing worldwide, to Airbus worldwide, to Bell Helicopter worldwide, and we're not alone. So it's incredible the amount of recognition Indian suppliers have internationally. And I think one of the things we need now to do is get these guys to
in India.
focus on India.
Exactly.
Because we all went out thinking, Abhi, Dhanda India mein is really small, only HAL, what do you do?
True.
And the excellence in the last 15 years with those high volumes and high expectations has really become tremendous.
No, so that is what, that entire experience of meeting world standards, global standards, must now get transposed or at least replicated in India, Indian defense manufacturing ecosystem. It will depend on the government's initiatives.
And I think Ashok said something very important, because this bias against a single vendor is truly destructive.
Absolutely.
We are single source to Airbus, we are single source to Boeing, we are single source to Bell Helicopter for over 1,000 aircraft a year. And they don't have a problem with that. I absolutely agree with you. If you don't change these policies, you're going to have a problem.
Yeah, and that, so therefore, I will add to it that I've been talking to procurement professionals and acquisition managers. I've been saying this, that the impression that you give to outsiders like me who's watching it is that you're more interested in meeting the process rather than the outcome.
Absolutely.
And I think that is where it sort of becomes a major hurdle. But Ravishankar, maybe you can tell us how L&T tackles this.
This is a challenge for us also, because the process is that way. But what I wanted to say is, see, there has been some improvements in terms of, what the country benefits. Is if you have some of the programs like a green channel which has come up, where, the process is set by the manufacturer, the customer is happy, and from a L&T perspective, whether there is an inspection by some third-party DGQA, it's the L&T product, it's given for the armed forces, the product has to be great. So this green channel and single party, if it can be clubbed, it saves everybody's time. Because the moment you introduce a new party, the learning curve starts. He rightly put it. The technology changes. So when the technology changes, when you are at certain level, the technology, when you want to upgrade it, it becomes easy rather than somebody who is starting from the scratch. You use him for something. I'm not saying that don't use, but use him for something different and better which can be integrated. That will help the government to take some of the systems into the induction very fast, and finally it will help the country. This is something which we need to look into.
So let me move away from government interaction or government's decisions and acquisition policies, because we have, I presume, a lot of manufacturers here from, who are in this hall here and who are part of the IMS. And the creation of ecosystem is not one company or three companies, but hundreds and thousands of companies. Now, since, let me start with Toby again here and then go back to Ashok, that and to Ravishankar, that you need support, you need tier 2, tier 3 suppliers. How has your experience been as far as Indian tier 2, tier 3 suppliers are concerned?
And there are really tiny companies which are exceptionally good at what they do.
So a round
making
of
the
applause
widgets.
for the Bangalore.
So really, whoever's from here, it's phenomenal work, and I think you've hit the nail on the head. There's another very interesting thing that we have to understand. Bangalore is home to the largest cohort of engineers in the world. And most of these guys have been focusing on IT type of stuff. But for the first time, you have this incredible opportunity of 80, 90,000 engineers coming out every year that can be piped into these new opportunities. And around Bangalore, you've got a very rich hinterland of craft culture. You've got Togle Gombe puppets, you've got all this Kenal art, you've got Channapatna toys. So we hire children from these communities. We run an ITI, which is government owned, run by us at Devanali, and we train them for three years. And they're not trained for us, they're trained for the whole industry. So I would recommend anybody who wants to set up an aerospace business or has an aerospace business and wants world-class workers, that's the foundation of great business for us. Because across the world, aerospace, aircraft, spacecraft, these are crafted, heavily crafted products. And for the chief, when he looks at an aircraft coming out from HL, he looks at it and he says, I want it to shine better than, everybody complains that our armed forces want shiny stuff from abroad, but they are better crafted. And we have a tremendous craft culture in India, and we just need to merge the craft along with engineering.
Yeah, that's
Thank
true,
you.
absolutely. Ashok, what has been your experience? Because
I think that has been our, in a sense, a superpower in the sense that, we in 22 we were 60 crores. We scaled to 160. Next year it was 460. Now last year we did 900 crores. That growth was possible because we were focused only on IP development and product creation, prototyping and engineering. And that's where we stop. And then we have a really Bangalore, Hyderabad has a very rich, supply chain, and we have used them. They're due to BDL and other, lot of DRDO being there. So yeah, so I think, very frankly, I think that we are incapable of manufacturing. I'll confess to that, because that's also a very specialized skill. And again, we have fewer people who are doing R&D, so why don't you focus on what we do best? And we have seen that, we have been doing a lot of R&D, and the products, again, we created more than 200 patents, not all global, not only Indian, but even global patents. So I think, yes, this is the advantage was that, we had this supply chain to scale up like that. Had the supply chain not be there, we had to do it. We couldn't have grown so rapidly.
right. Ravishankar, L&T has manufacturing facilities spread across the country, actually east, west, north, south, in that sense. What has been L&T's experience as far as skilled craftsmen are concerned or skilled workers are concerned? And you do some of the very specialized products or platforms like nuclear submarines. So tell us something more about how more and more people can get into tier 2, tier 3 suppliers they can become, and then of course graduate to much higher ground.
See, L&T the ecosystem, and while we are spread out, all our business, what we call them as business partners, and they are all spread out. I can give some of the classic examples. What we do is initial stage of the manufacturing, what we call it as a proto development, we do in-house to capture the learnings, and then we start giving it out based on the skill level. We say some feeder shops where they do 100% of the work only for L&T. We maintain the skill, we train them, we qualify the people, and then we retain them through the ecosystem, and they continuously work for us. There are one more case where in some of the areas, what we have done is, since infrastructure sometimes becomes a problem for them, particularly in Hazira, we have created the infrastructure. The full shop, cranes and everything, machines, everything is sponsored by us. And we tell them to come here and work. So that we give, because we have to somewhere segregate the proto versus the production. The developmental versus the production, within the production, some of the non-critical to critical. So this, whether it's an electronics or whether it's a mechanical, whether it's a cut bend parts or a machined parts or a sub-assemblies or subsystems level, from Bangalore we get a lot of subsystems level. Bangalore is known for electromechanical systems, gearboxes and others. So all these are integrated and we retain them for a period of, last 20 years they have been growing with us. And only we go on developing. Some areas where we do is, we tell them that we will not be able to give you assured business. So 50% you rely on us, 50% capacity I'll book, 50% you look for something. Okay. So that's how we balance.
That's a good model, but huge opportunities do exist.
Yes, huge opportunities exist. Not only here, in Coimbatore, across
the country.
Huge
across the country. But I want to move away from the entrepreneurs or industrialists to the air chief, where your base repair depots are also, in a way, this combines, I won't say manufacturing really, but manufacturing and maintenance and, of course, skills. How have you utilized them in the past few years?
You have AVM Seth here who just finished commanding a BRD. But, my statistics may be somewhere, give or take a few numbers. Every aircraft we fly will have around 6,000 to 7,000 lines which need replacement sometime in the service of the aircraft.
That's true.
Similarly, for the ground systems, for the surface-to-air weapons, for the radars. Now, if you look at the number of systems that are there on the inventory, as of a year and a half ago, around 60,000 plus lines have been indigenized.
60,000 out of those?
With the help of the local industry.
Okay.
And like you said, most of them, these industrial belts, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Coimbatore,
Kanpur maybe?
Kanpur, they play a major role in helping in indigenization of these lines. And these numbers are significant because, like what was covered in the morning, for the want of a horseshoe, the kingdom could be lost.
Yes.
Some of them are so critical that the OEMs have stopped manufacturing them many years ago. So we had to now start right from scratch, what the BRD does. And then take the help of the local industry to start manufacturing.
Improvise, innovate, all that.
And at a scale that is required for sustenance. So
that's true. So I think for the audience, and I don't know how many of you are into manufacturing, small time, big time, whatever. But these opportunities, I think, need to be tapped. Because this is where I think there is a issue of communication or maybe information or awareness.
Yeah, just one example I'll quote. For example, in Coimbatore, Sulur, we have a BRD there. Now that BRD does the repair and overhaul of our microlight aircraft. Now the microlight aircraft has got a very basic piston engine which runs it. Very simple components, most of them common with the automobile engineering, with the automobiles,
Sure.
The door handles are the same as a car, most of the things are very common.
Like
commonly
automobile industry. You can
but for many years, we treated it as an aeroplane, as an aircraft.
Okay.
So it cannot be touched by
outsiders, yeah.
But then we realized it was so easy to now outsource it to the local industry in the Tamil Nadu corridor and Coimbatore, that we have a very high serviceability rate of our microlight aircraft today, thanks to the outreach that we've done there.
That's right. So I think there is a lesson here. I mean, if we can just, I can summarize our discussion and then open it up to the audience here, is the fact that there exists skills, there exists expertise. It was just that there was a lack of openness, perhaps, lack of awareness, lack of education. But all that has changed and changing very fast. Technology is coming in from abroad, technology is being created here. And with the Indian Air Force looking to manufacture or sort of design and manufacture the advanced medium combat aircraft and other aircraft going further, I think there is huge opportunity even to those who haven't still got into the aerospace and defense business. I think that's the gist. Of course, we must have Indians must have control over our IP or the intellectual property rights and the design that is there. Because ultimately design is what drives any manufacturing. But manufacturing is important, and manufacturing has to meet world standards. And I think more and more MNCs, and I had a conference of my own just 2 days ago on 4th of November, 3 days ago, where the multinational companies and big defense manufacturers like Lockheed Martin and Airbus and everyone, they're all trying to or looking to set up their big MRO centers, having joint ventures here, and make in India for the world, which is, I think, also the Prime Minister's slogan. So I think this opportunity must be grabbed, and this will only remain for the next 10 to 15 years before some other country comes in there. I think that's the key takeaway as I see it. But let me not stand between your questions and your discussion points to the audience, so to the panelists. So let me open this in case there are questions, and we'll go. We'll take 3 questions if there are first, and then and you please state your name, also to whom you are addressing the question, and then we'll take it from there. Yeah. Anyone? Yes.
Hi, my name is Bharat, and I have a question for Air Chief Marshal. So, strategically, what is better to optimize for tech or optimize for scale? I mean, obviously, high tech can't compete with scale, but if you had to choose between tech and scale, what would you choose?
We'll answer that. We'll take 2 more if there are other questions, if there are any. Yeah, here. And then there. Okay, maybe there. First give it there.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Srinivas. My question is to Ashok. I think you rightly pointed out, the topic of today's discussion is also innovation in manufacturing. My question is, in case you're not manufacturing a product that you have not designed, how much of innovation content will be there in manufacturing?
Okay. And here.
Not flying because of lack of spare parts not available. And probably the attempt was to indigenize some of the spare parts to make the aircraft fly. One question we could not find an answer was who will certify these indigenized spare parts for airworthiness? So is there an answer to this question? Because I think that's the solution which we need to look at.
Yeah. So the first one, technology or scale, given the, I'll speak from the Air Force point of view. When we are not talking about distances of border, we talk about volume of airspace to be defended. Given the volume of airspace that the Indian Air Force is charged with defending, scale is necessary. We cannot substitute it with mere high technology equipment. But notwithstanding, I will say that even technology is as important. So it's a mix of both. There is no clear-cut black and it's not binary that this or that. It's a mix of both, but you see the sheer size of the airspace that is required to be guarded, and you'll realize how important scale is for us. When it comes to certification, we have the certification agencies starting from CEMILAC, DGA, QA, RCMA. So at the regional levels or at the BRD levels, the RCMA representatives are available. So maybe you're talking about the naval yard, which for us in the Air Force parlance equivalent is the base repair depot. So a base repair depot has an embedded quality assurance person. In fact, there is an Air Force quality assurance team also, but the RCMA is embedded in all our BRDs. So they do the certification. I'm really not sure whether it works the same way in the naval yards, but I suppose it should be the same.
Typically, our relationship with manufacturers has been just, we give the design to them and manufacture it. So, if you are saying what is the innovation in manufacturing, we do interact with them interactively, how can we reduce the cost of the, cost of production? Can we make the system easy? But this is done typically at the engineering level. Once we design, prototype it, there is a design for manufacturing that happens, improvement for manufacturing. So, yeah, so I think there is innovation in manufacturing. I may be focusing on, IP a lot, but, I think there's a lot to be said about, innovation in manufacturing. And, as Tesla, Tesla famously said, production is hell. And again, but again, what the point here that I want to make is, if, for example, let us take Lockheed, Boeing, and NASA. for 2 decades, they were not able to fly even a single rocket. Why was that? I think that was because there was no skin in the game. It was a cost plus model. They were delaying as much as possible because the moment you complete the project, it gets closed down. SpaceX came and Elon Musk said, listen, you don't pay me anything. Pay me only when I deliver the milestones. What are the deliverables? Only then you pay me. The moment that came, the concept came, he started delivering, because if he doesn't deliver, he goes bankrupt. So, I think that way, when there is a skin in the game involved, then the product also, in addition to the rockets flying, there is continuous innovation happening even at the manufacturing level.
No wonder he's got $1 trillion as his pay packet, which has been approved today.
I mean, listen, if he's creating 10 trillion worth of for the shareholders, giving 10% to him is not really that bad a deal, I think. So I think, but the whole thing is, if you want to see whether a project will succeed or not, look at this. What is the downside the project fails for the guy? If the company will go bankrupt, just give it the project to him.
Correct.
But if nothing happens, things are as the
There's
usual.
no cost to him.
I would do DPSUs or something like that. Yeah. Probably then, the chance of success are a little less than what would be.
That's true. Toby, do you want to come in? What kind of innovation can you do in manufacturing?
Yeah, so innovation is, of course, product design, but you also innovate on process design. You innovate on making the product faster, better, lighter, cheaper, more efficient. For example, we just proposed a suo moto proposal to Airbus. We'll save them $250 million a year, and it'll take out 422 kilos of titanium per aircraft just on the flap rack beams. Now, why is that strategic? They are fighting Trump on these Russian sanctions against titanium. Now, Europe gets all its titanium from Russia. So you're killing two birds with one stone, not just cost, but that's a design intervention or a innovation. Process design, where you take out concessions that existed just by changing the way the product is made. And there's a lot. I mean, I can give you even in terms of design thinking. For example, as a single source manufacturer, you don't have local raw material here. So a typical HAL type of structure would import 1,000 tons of metal, machine it over here with high cost of capital, and assemble it. You take out 90% of the metal when you're machining it. So what have we done? This is design thinking. We put up a machine shop in Europe. We buy metal there. We only ship 8% of the metal here. And that 92% of the metal is bricketed and given back to the mill. So you're capturing the best value of material, the best machine, the best cost of money. And because you're now shipping only 80 tons, 7 tons a month, and so 100 tons, you're shipping it by air. So you can really think out of the box if you're an Indian, because we have to fight constraints every day. We have constrained capital costs. So you have to really seek best value in everything, and that drives innovation.
And I think that's in India's DNA, DNA of Indians. What used to be called jugaad, it's actually innovation.
Yeah, so a high quality jugaad is really innovation.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
that's true.
Just a follow-on question to all the panelists. It's an era of AI now. So how do you see AI is going to play a major role in revolutionizing manufacturing and reducing costs and maybe engineering aspect? What do you see?
Okay, we'll ask them to speak. Any other questions? We can take 3 together. If not, then I'll. Is there any other question? Anybody? No? Okay. So let's start with you. Yeah.
So that's very interesting. India has actually been a very advanced user of AI. So we machine all our parts there, we assemble everything here. So what is the core innovation there? Low cost of capital in Europe, low cost of manpower in India. But you still have to assemble it, and then when you assemble, let's say 800-900 parts, you have sealants, and you have to then machine the critical part, as an assembly for fitment onto the aircraft. So what we've done is we've got a AI stack in the big machine tools that we use. And so before we machine, every assembly we do is actually probed by the machine. It then uses AI to connect and compare the data it's gathering with the library, and through AI, it adapts the machining process. The program changes. So India is, I'm again saying, all this is developed here in Bangalore. And this was developed like 5, 6 years ago before AI became a buzz, you know. So it's really amazing.
That's true. Actually, we don't publicize or give enough importance to our own,
Yeah,
inventions.
and last 3 weeks ago, we did the world's first AI FAI. FAI in aerospace is the first article inspection. So the entire visual inspection, you have a maker, you have a checker who's the inspector, and then we had a trained camera with AI checking the checker. And it's a complete fantastic system. It's never been done before. And it's all developed here in India.
Yeah, so even that apprehension, I think, will be initially there, that there will be job losses. But I think if, not really, because it can add to the efficiency, really. Ashok, you want to say something?
Yeah, I mean, we use AI very extensively. One is the process AI, where from the time the inquiry comes, how do you create a reply, everything, process-based. The second is embedding the AI into the product itself. For example, our training simulator, when we say training, the best training is an expert doing one-on-one coaching rather than, 1-on-60 coaching where the slowest student can drag the whole class down.
Sure.
So what if this AI capable simulator is there and there are 60 students, that this expert is actually doing one-on-one coaching with everybody because they are assessing dynamically the person's strengths and weaknesses and doing it. Right. So, I think AI embedding that way is becoming very big for Zen in simulators, and of course, across into other products also, like, identification of drone threats and neutralizing them. On counter drone system also, it's becoming very big. So we are investing a lot in AI, and AI is actually, I do feel that, AI will actually evaporate a lot of jobs, but it will also create a lot of other jobs.
No, I think they'll recreate the jobs.
Yeah,
Perhaps they will recreate, or can use that term, retool the jobs. AI. It's not necessary, but you have something.
AI is now an unavoidable thing, which is actually going to create more jobs, is for me, because the fact is, what is established process yesterday was done with lot of data, with lot of inaccuracy, will be done by AI with high accuracy. And this will also take us to next level. We started with discussion on how do we improve our design, how do we be better. So those are the things which will start in AI. AI will be in the automation is done, IoT is done. Now the next phase is automatically AI. And this is going to be the order of the day. In fact, in Larsen and Toubro, at the age of 40, 45, people are trained on AI so that they are able to use it for the regular day-to-day working. So that's how we are engaging our team. And India, I will say the age group is very, very low age group. And the people now who are joining us have been a mobile generation. For them, if I say anything, takes 2 days, they look at me, they lead it in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So AI helps in that. Priority, if you want to know the capacity, if you want to know how this is going to be predictive, all these people want in just 2 minutes, 2 seconds. That's AI for us.
True. Chief, maybe you want to.
The information gathering systems, whether it is satellites, drones, radars, whatever. Now, all of them are generating humongous amount of data. The manual method of filtering this data, sifting this data, detecting changes, deciding which is an suitable target, all that is extremely time consuming. Today, with the help of AI, for example, just to put it in perspective, to analyze one target for Operation Sindoor, with the help of AI, we can do it in a few hours or even less. Earlier, the whole process used to take many days. You have a lot of image analysts sitting together, pouring their heads on deciding which is the best direction to strike and so on. So the sensor entire network has been shrunk quite a bit with AI. Now when it comes to translating this into targeting information and to be able to hit it, whether it is from the air or from the ground or whatever, okay, so this requires a faster decision-making cycle. And this now, with complete assistance of AI, we have been able to reduce our decision-making cycles tremendously. So earlier what required a hall full of these many people actually sitting here, watching a big screen and then, taking a decision. today can be done in a single room, like you said, with somebody, a graduate just out of college can decide, yes, this is what it is, this is the target, this is the weapon, most suitable, and it's a go.
So it's not something to fear really, AI, from what one can gather from these experienced people. But let me have some more questions. Rajat, please introduce yourself and maybe ask the questions. Mike? Yeah, there's the mic.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rajat Sethi. I'm a deep tech entrepreneur developing quantum sensors and lasers. My question is, while some of these stories that you've all shared is deeply inspiring, it gives us those nuggets to latch onto and keep the confidence going. But if you look at the big picture, our manufacturing as a percentage of GDP is still stuck, in fact, lowering. Foreign capital is drying out. They are not coming to back us anymore. We are also seeing that still the R&D expenditure in our country is abysmally low. So while these stories are fabulous and you are, individual stalwarts in what you're doing, somehow the aggregate story is still sad. And it has a downhill impact also, because for entrepreneurs like us who are building deep tech products, there is no food chain upwards where you can sell within India. So no matter how hard we try, our first orders will necessarily come from US. So my simple question remains that what is the missing link still, which is still holding us back and not allowing the animal spirits to really genuinely give us a hockey stick curve in our growths?
I think you've named an entrepreneur's dilemma here very clearly. So foreign capital is drying up. There's me of Indian capital. People are pouring money into stocks, into startups, and money is coming from places nobody ever imagined money would come. And it's still just the tip of the iceberg. The challenge and the problem is that the Indian capital is very impatient. It wants a daily green signal, which means it wants 1% every day, literally. And that's unsustainable. And it'll not work to your dream of developing deep tech. So the only way is really, as we had to do 15 years ago, turn our lens overseas, find global customers who are willing to take a longer bet on us. And then now we are talking about coming back with all the capabilities that we've developed with global customers for building our own products in India. So I think you may have to find customers who will support you for that deeper tech. But you have also the advantage of financing in India now, which we didn't have when I was your age. Right,
That's
so,
true. I think
thank you.
that's the cycle that the nation goes through, or the ecosystem goes through. Ashok, maybe you want to take it on.
I think, there is the Pareto cause. I think we are fighting much below our weight. And I was just giving an example of, IMAX Pro, $1,200 thing. When we manufacture $25, and what is the amount you make out of it is $4. The manufacturer makes $4, and how much does the owner of IP make? They make $400. There is a 100x delta between them. Why are we not looking at that? So I think all the problems, again, I'm not more concerned about, percentage of GDP growth, but even if the percentage is low, and if it's actually invested in creating IP and our own products, I think a lot of this will be set right. If you create your IP, the manufacturing will be in India. Nobody wants to go out. So if so, IP is again, the problem is recursive. The solution is recursive. So I think we will have to really go after creating our own products. And then, and I really don't understand, why does India not do what like China has done? They don't have a Twitter, they don't have a Facebook, they have their own homegrown thing. So easy to do, we can do it even now, but we are not doing it. So and that's billions of dollars, and that billions of dollars for revenues, not only revenues, but also in terms of IP creation that we can do with those that kind of data. We haven't done, I think, when Trump is talking about tariffs, we should just have to switch this tap off. But I think, we are not creating our own IP. And second is, where the opportunities are there, we are not really, government is really not being aggressive.
But I think in that challenge that Trump has thrown up, or Trump's personality has thrown up, there are opportunities which we can talk about separately. But you want to say something about what he was saying?
See, this, like what he said, it used to take 20 to 25 years for a prototype to get into production. That's how the big companies have grown. Now the cycle time is reducing. Yes, it's a challenge. It probably will change over a period of time.
Most of the established Indian business people, they don't invest in deep tech. For example, my own strengths are analog VLSI, photonics, and electromagnetism, and I'm working in the background on quantum things. And just now, the 4 panelists answered his question. So even I have the same pitch that there is no Indian investment in any such technologies. The Indian established business people are very good at, connecting to the government and growing their own money. So if you could say something more about it. So.
Okay. One behind you, I think somebody had a question. And then I'll come to
Sir, I'm Sachin Anvekar. This is regarding the dependency of industries relying on AI. How much is it suitable? Because lot of AI can also lead to hallucination also. So how are you going to find how much of AI to be administered for production?
Okay. And then we will take this one as the last question. The bearded gentleman there. Yeah.
So basically, I'm an engineer and I always think of solutions that I can create. Now, in defense space, the most interesting space in startup is Israel. The logic being...
Sorry, is what?
Israel.
Israel, okay.
Yeah, logic being almost everyone there serves in the military. They can clearly see the gaps and use cases. Now, over here, even in India, all new age startups, not all, but many I'm seeing, are done by ex-defense personnel who, after retirement, are starting companies because they clearly see the use case and the gap in the industry. They know what is to be fixed. Now, I, who has not served in military and now I cannot serve, and I want to build solutions. How do I see real gaps and real use cases?
So how do you see you want the visibility on what are the gaps that...
I have no idea how to see
You
real
have no
gaps.
idea, okay. Yeah, got the question. Yeah, the last question here.
Fourth, fifth generation, it's a pain point. That, yes, the momentum that should have been generated about 10 years ago, if it was generated and sustained, today we would have had the AMCA flying with us. Okay. So there is a lot of gap between the, from what we desire and what is actually happening. Procedural delays are what probably the reason behind this. That some critical components in all these engines, whether it is third or fifth generation aircraft, is the aero engines. And we do not have indigenous aero engine capability. So since if we are going to be dependent on some other country for aero engines, then we have to accept the delays in procurement and, finalizing contracts and so on.
But sir, during wartime. Wartime. Same. I think that's a question that is very difficult to answer. In
very difficult, but yes, it is uppermost on the minds of the users and even in the acquisition wing. But then trying to circumvent old procedures, laid down procedures, is
also fraught, I think. Also,
it is fraught with a lot of, if you realize, if you go through the newspapers of the last 20 years or the news, where have all these scandals, so-called, middlemen, where have they been found? Only in defense deals, right? Whether it was, Bofors, SDW submarines, Augusta Westland, you name it. It's only in defense deals. For some, so all more, requirement to trade with caution when it comes to how to, accelerate such deals.
That's true. But anyway, other questions, please, Toby, if you want to answer about industries not investing enough in R&D. Again, I mean, what Rajat was asking, Indian industries, the gentleman there working in quantum had this question.
I think
Ashok
and how to have companies that can do deep R&D and we invest in them. So one of the companies that we invested in 2018, they were doing 19 projects. like typical technocrat, they want to solve all interesting problems. So we actually shut down 18 of their projects and said, listen, you have a detector here, let us build an anti-drone system. And nobody was talking about anti-drone system at that point in time. So the detector, jammer, radar, today we have electronic optics, the hard kill option for the remote control weapon station, everything. So I think if you have really good projects, and again, unfortunately, the process cycle, building awareness, telling them that there's a product available, asking them to, convincing them to float, RFI, AON, RFP trials, all these are TEC trials are all part of the thing. You cannot avoid it. But at least associate with a company that is inclined to invest for 3 to 4 years, 5 years on deep tech, and then you can go ahead with them. I think there are a lot of companies doing this.
I think, yeah. So I'll support that assertion that things are changing. They're changing. You may not have got in touch, or you may not have been able to find companies which are doing that. But I know at least half a dozen of them, if not more, who are interested in deep tech, trying to invest money. But they also need to be convinced. It has to be a good use case. You need to have the conviction that this will work. Only then people will buy it.
And technically, actually, there are a lot of technical people who think they're technically very superior. But when they interact with our guys, they feel no, we are not that good. So, but if you're technically really good, I think there will be a lot of opportunities for people who are good, because that's one thing that's really lacking at this point in time.
Ravi, you want to answer something? Oh, okay. And one more question.
Because everyone served in the
how a
military.
civilian can spot a use case?
Because since they have served, they can really see something that we cannot see. And it's very innovative in nature because they have served and they have worked on it.
One thing is how we have developed the simulators is, you once build a relationship, they continuously keep giving you ideas about it. So to your question, yes, it has to be from the end user or somebody who's retired, whom you have to probably engage as a consultant or, hire him on your roles. So you can't imagine the solution. Absolutely not. You're right about that. And the fact that, just to get the point, the amount of the population of Israel is probably whatever our security forces are here.
But
so
see,
we have a lot of people
they
there.
all serve and get experience at a young age. A young engineer can obviously not get consultants, right? Or easy access to the defense personnel.
Okay. I get your point, what you're saying, that you may not get the use case. But the whole issue is now even the military, there are enough people who are going out after short service commission. They're coming in as specialists, engineering entry. They're also coming in as specialists for some of the entries that are happening. They can be, it has to be a then partnership. It cannot be just that you're hiring them. You offer them something, they'll do it. I mean, there's a way to do a business case, I suppose. It can't be just one way, right? Ashok? Yeah.
There's also a portal, the MOD portal. You need to register yourself. If you are already registered there, then you can expect to receive RFIs, requests for information, from the services.
So there will be enough. So I think awareness. Yeah. Yeah, please. Take a mic.
All of you. I am Group Captain Thakur. I am from Directorate of Aerospace Design. Just to gap this particular bridge this particular gap what we are talking about, we have started a program, we call it Industry Outreach Event, wherein we call all industry, particularly MSME startups, to see the Air Force bases, front-end bases. In fact, till date, we have done more than 6 such events where we call the people to Air Force Station Halwara, so we call them at Sulur, Pune, Bareilly. So large number, more than 600 plus industries has visited to see this particular facility. We conduct this event for a day or 2 days event at every base, wherein the industries come, they see our equipment, what are the problem areas we are facing, how can they help us, what are the products, requirements are there from Armed Air Force. So those things we demonstrate to all industries. This is what we have been doing. In fact, another probably December end or January, again, we'll come to the 7th edition of this particular event. So that time again, you can come for that.
You're right. Actually, let me add, I think if you were there in the pre-lunch session, all the 3 representative of 3 services, they also gave you out the details of problem statements. There are these documents like TPCR, which has all the use cases. So you can look there, and they also have this, Army has this advanced field area visits where you can go and look at the problems that they face. They could be minor, but you can find a solution there also. So there is enough connect. I think Let me sum it up by saying this, that while we have a long way to go as far as innovation and manufacturing in defense is concerned, things have really changed. I've been watching this space for now over 40 years. And the kind of difficulty manufacturers used to have to reach out to the defense services has now vanished. In fact, the defense services, like he just mentioned, are reaching out to smaller towns, smaller ecosystems, industries, MSMEs, everywhere. I think it's, sometimes I feel it's an overkill, but nevertheless you need to have that. Maybe 100% you try and you get some 60% result from that. So I think we are getting there. It's a matter of time that everyone gets a thing. So I'm going to stop here. All that remains for me is to thank my fellow panelists and the insights that they have provided to you. A big round of applause for them.
I now request Shri Nitinji to please present a memento to all the panelists. Present here and also to the panelists. I wholeheartedly thank them for their generous support.